UFC 303, the aftermath of it was crazy. Chael Sonnen does a great job, the former MMA fighter, and obviously he was sensational in the broadcast coverage. Really enjoyed him at the desk. I saw Dustin Poirier was on there as well, and he's kind enough to join us right now. Chael, appreciate the time. Thanks so much for it. How you been?
That was a beautiful introduction, man, and you got it exactly right. I tried to call Jon Jones. I wanted to be a hero for you, so I tried to call Jon Jones to tell you what he was seeing, what he was thinking, if we could get that fight. I had bubbles. Like he wrote the message, but he never hit send. I don't know what was on the other end of it, and I'm dying. This is like 10 minutes ago. I'm dying to know what John's thinking about Pereira.
Well, we all got ghosted. I just guess you got ghosted by Jon Jones.
Well, I guess there is a point where you have to elect yourself mayor of Get to Hintsville. My last interaction with Jon Jones was 5 years ago, and he, again, wrote back immediately, but it was not only a middle finger emoji, he skin-toned it, and it was the funniest FU I've ever gotten.
Well, let me start you off with this because,
Can you hear me? Is this on? I'm giving you fire right now. What, we got a bad service?
No, it's sensational. We always know you step up and deliver. But I want to ask you this because I remember being at UFC in November, and everyone after that fight was talking about seeing Pereira drop back down to middleweight and fight Adesanya again. And then it's okay. He goes and wins in the light heavyweight, and we know what Pereira's been able to do. But now just the fact, Chael, that we're talking about him fighting in the heavyweight division, I've never seen a rise like this. It's crazy.
In sport. And this is a challenge. You're a sports guy. Your listeners are. If it happened, please tell me. I can guarantee it never happened in combat sport. I'm telling you in sport. I'm old enough to remember when Bo Jackson was playing football and went and played baseball, but he wasn't 36 when he started, and he didn't become the best in the world. I have never seen a rise like this. Basketball, baseball, any way you want to do it. This might be the great athlete of all time. I mean, right, that's silly. It might be true.
How much longer will this continue to go? Because you just said it, right? He got his start so late, right? We know it with the kickboxing, the history, and the story, but he turns 37 this week.
Brother, it's just beginning. And let me tell you why. And here's one thing, and please mark my words. You'll be glad that you called me from Uncle Chael's mouth only. Okay, these guys that he's beaten, they all went and fought him. Yuri Prohaska Saturday night went and fought him. He brought his skills. Bruce Seldon never did that. Peter McNeely never did that. Frank Bruno never did that. Nobody aside from Evander Holyfield ever did that against Mike Tyson. When they reach that level of fear, the Anderson Silva level of fear, where the guys that leave all the skills in the locker room and they just try to get back to their family in one piece, that is what just happened Saturday. That fight that you just saw Alex in, that's the last time you're going to see Alex fight. And tell John, if and when they ever get John, you will never see him fight again. You'll see him in the ring. You'll see him make his walk. You will never see anybody try to beat that guy again.
I know that Dana will keep on saying that Jon Jones is pound for pound the best fighter in the UFC, and it's tough to argue it. But do you think Alex Pereira is the best pound for pound fighter in the UFC now?
If Alex Pereira, the GOAT conversation is very fun. The greatest of all time is such a fun conversation. If Alex Pereira is to win the heavyweight championship, so that would make him champ, first ever, we will no longer have that conversation. The heated debate you heard between Dana and the media on Saturday will never happen again. When it's time to talk about GOAT, we will just say Alex Pereira. I don't believe that he's surpassed Jon Jones. That's something I'd have to see to believe. Jon is something very special that I have a hard time explaining his skills and ability. Brother, I'm in that same spot with Pereira. I'm flipping over my words right now. I've never seen – I can't explain. He doesn't have some secret coach. He has some secret training. Anytime we see this, it's Olympic year, we'll see that in a month when the games kick up. We'll see some country come out of nowhere like Jamaica did 8 years ago. They're on steroids. They're like the Russians. There's no great secret. They got a hold of a great chemist. That's not what's happening here. This guy's clean. He's above board, and he just found a game that he can play better than anybody else.
Chael Sonnen here with us, delivering us fire right on the Zach Gelb Show on the Infinity Sports Network. So I understand people saying he's not the best fighter in the sport right now, but he's got to be the face of the UFC, Alex Pereira, right now.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's down to him and Sean O'Malley. I personally think maybe Sean's got him nudged just a little bit. I have some numbers to support that, but that's not going to continue. Like, Sean will up his game. I shouldn't say it wouldn't continue. I'm just sharing with you. The bump that Alex Pereira got 2 days ago, like Dana White was not planning this. This was not the direction. Nobody believed this could happen. We had plenty of kickboxers come over. We had plenty of middle-aged guys come over. It doesn't work this way. There's no great secrets, man. I've seen this guy lift weights. Not a lot of them. I've seen this guy run, and it was fast. It wasn't that fast. Like, there's nothing here that is unique. There's nothing here that's special. I can't. I mean, he doesn't have a trick move. He's not overly dynamic. He's never had a wrestling match. He has no color belt in jiu-jitsu, at least not that I know of. I know he's never had a competitive match. This has never happened. This is a straight-up kickboxer. We used to tease kickboxers. In 1993, when they started to figure out what arts work and which ones don't, kickboxing was one of the first ones laughed at.
Do you actually think that Pereira won't fight again until it's Jon Jones? Because he always takes fights. That's what I love about him. He's always in the octagon.
Oh, no. Hey, this Jon Jones come out of everybody's mouth, you and I, everybody, and I'm sure John's talked about it today too. And one thing about Jon, whether he pushed send back and I got bubbles or not, I will speak for Jon. He will take that fight. Jon Jones is not scared of Alex Pereira, not even maybe a little tiny bit. He just has his hands full right now with Stipe. So, but let's set that aside. To your question specifically, Pereira's not said that. Pereira actually said the opposite. He said, I will fight anybody, and I'm always ready. And I have to believe him. A lot of guys say it as hyperbole, but he saved the show 2 nights ago. He saved UFC 300. Yeah. He wasn't booked on that card. And to do it, he offered to go up to heavyweight and fight Tom Aspinall, our current champion in the absence of Jon Jones. I mean, this guy's the real deal. I don't know where he gets the confidence from. He got nothing special. There is nothing about that I have, me personally, that I would give to have what he has. Like a genie pops out of the bottle. I can trade him straight across. Nothing. Hey, no wrestling experience. He didn't even have fighting experience. He got an amateur record. 11 fights. That includes amateur. 11 in total. That's nothing. You could get that in a month in certain jurisdictions.
So what?
He's the best.
So
he has no black belt. He has no black belt in the art. He's got 2 gold belts that say he's the best. You can't make the story up.
So what's next for him? Like, do we start to hear noise about Adesanya again? Like who do you think his next fight will be?
No, most definitely it will not be Adesanya. You're going to start hearing about Uncle Liev. And I know what you're thinking right now. The same thing everybody else is what did Chael say, followed by who? But it's just the only guy that's left. And the problem there is Uncle Liev does have the one skill set. He's a fighter from Dagestan, which means he has high-level grappling, one of Khabib's guys. And the one style that we haven't seen Alex dominate or even defeat is that kind of a wrestler, and it's not worth the risk, in my opinion. To take the risk that this guy could get over on this guy called Uncle Liev, I think that's a nickname. I don't know, maybe it's a first name or last name. I don't even know, and I'm not trying to be funny right now. To take the risk of him taking the spot of your biggest star, I don't know. Dana White's a big gambler, man. I don't know if he's that big.
Chael Sonnen here with us. Do you ever think we'll see McGregor and Chandler, or is this just going to kept on getting pushed and pushed back further and further?
No, I don't believe so. I'll put it to you this way. We were very unlikely to ever get this match, and nobody was more resistant than Dana. In fact, Conor put out a piece on his massive social media that the fight was going to happen on June 29th, International Fight Week, him and Chandler, 5 rounds, the whole bit. And Dana White did a media tour to let the world know, no, it is not. I mean, he went on Pat McAfee, he went on CBS Radio, he let everybody know that is not true. That statement was not put out by me or the company. And I only share that with you is he was very reluctant to do the one that just fell through. And I don't know why. That never came out. Dana was a gentleman through this whole process, and Dana protected Conor through this whole process. But Dana's also known something through this entire process, and I do not believe you're going to fool him twice.
So then what's next for Chandler? Because I feel that's what gets lost here. I feel bad. He's been waiting, and I don't believe that fight happens until we actually see it.
Well, and you should have heard him. You should have heard poor Chandler. You know, he's such an entertainer. He's such a handsome guy. I really like this guy. But he's 36 years old. You can't be a cage fighter and a Division I wrestler and be 36 years young. He's 36 years old, and he was cutting this promo about you've got to believe, and he like sounded like Anthony Robbins. This positivity, and it's going to be a me and Conor. And it's like, hey, Chandler, first off, in case you never read any of those positivity books that usually turn out not to be true, you can't do it when you're counting on somebody else, particularly a drug addict, in this case, Conor McGregor. And secondly, if you get the fight, you look like a good negotiator. If you don't get the fight, you look like you're unemployed, which was you for 2 years currently are. Do something else, Chandler. You're a prize fighter. To get the prize, you got to go fight.
What's more likely?
You can't get this. You're going to miss me when this interview hangs up, correct? You can't get this kind of insight. P is on fire over here.
You are on fire. There's no doubt about it. But what's more likely? Chandler and McGregor get into the octagon, or Stipe and Jon Jones gets into the octagon?
You're a genius for asking, and I love questions like this. All right, let me just think for 2 seconds. It's going to be Stipe and Jones. And those guys have one thing that Conor McGregor doesn't, which is bills that they can't pay. They can both pretend to be set up, and I know that's part of John's shtick. He likes to act it. He's not fighting because he wants to. He's fighting because he has to, and that's the major difference with McGregor. They say a rich man can't fight. I mean, that's an expression that goes back to Sugar Ray Leonard. They coined Thomas Hearns with it, or Marvin Hagler, but it was actually Sugar Ray that said that. He says you can't get up and run 5 miles in the morning when you wake up in silk sheets. And you will see Jones and you will see Stipe, but that's because they got to.
Chael Sonnen here with us for a few more minutes. Before we let you run, let me get back to UFC 303. How about what Diego Lopez did and the story of Dan Ige and then the Ortega having to drop out because he was sick, Lopez going up 2 weight classes, Ige coming over from down the street, practically training in July for a fight. I've never seen anything like that. When I was watching the card and you guys explained it, I was like, did I tune into The Onion? Is this really going on? I didn't believe it.
Yeah, it is. It is amazing. I mean, one thing about this sport, in all fairness, is we are going to fiercely adhere to whatever rules we make up on the spot. But yeah, so to make believe that you have the authority to weigh somebody in outside of the window of weigh-ins, like there is a precedent that goes back over 40 years where weigh-ins are from make-up numbers from 9 to 11 in the morning, and at 11:03 the guy comes and gets on the scale and is on weight, but he's late to the scale. Something happened. His clock was different. He's late. And he never fought. None of them ever fight. There's a reason. I mean, I just got to tell you, like, I love this, and this was so fun. But I loved it. It was so fun because I've never seen it. I've never seen it because you can't do it. At any rate, it's been done. And, yes, I see it the way you do. Like Lopez and what he agreed to do, he was 146 pounds the day before. He did not just move up 1 weight class. That was to fight Ortega. He moved up 2 weight classes in 1 day, which, again, you're not allowed to do unless you make up the rules as you go. But either way, that's not the point. It was a gangster move, and it was a great move by Ige as well. I enjoyed it.
I know Michael Page lost is just as simple as he can't get to the ground and he just has to deliver that knockout punch to win.
Yeah, I think that it is a little bit. Hey, I'll tell you one thing about Page. Like, as dynamic and frightened as he is, he's not very big. He cut some of the least amount of weight of anybody on the card. And I only tell you that because, yeah, he's got to land that knockout punch, and it's hard to do. It's really hard to knock somebody out that's bigger than you. It is a great misconception that there is a size advantage in this sport. Like Muhammad Ali was 198 pounds in his prime, and Mike Tyson literally did not weigh more than one single opponent he ever had. Like, it's a misconception, but it is hard to knock the guy out. That's a reality. Just your power changes. It's different, man. I thought that was great. I really was impressed.
Were you surprised? And I know, right, the judges and how fights are scored, nothing surprises me. It was that way with boxing, and you've seen a little bit of it in the UFC, just not as bad as it's been in boxing. Were you surprised that fight was as close? And Dana, I think, even said it could have been a coin flip. I thought Ian Machado Gary clearly won the fight.
Oh, did you really? You know what? I think if there was ever a fight, like I'm training a bunch of judges. Let's say I'm training a bunch of judges, so we're going to look at fights and look at rounds and debate them. If there was ever a fight that I've ever seen that I could show them that was an absolute draw, it was that one. I thought the first round, I thought the first round was clear to Ian. I thought the second round was clear to MVP, and so did all the judges. But when you went into the third round, it was 2.5 minutes on the dot. It was. I think it was 2:31, if we're being literal, of one guy on top. Well, the other guy got that exact same position for 2:29. Like, they literally split time on the same position. Generally speaking, when human nature comes into it, which judges are human beings, whoever did what I just described, they did it last, is the one that wins, and that's exactly what happened here.
I know you were with Dustin Poirier on Saturday on the desk. You guys are doing a kick-ass job. Poirier's talking about one last fight. You have any idea who that fight's going to be up against?
The leading candidate right now is Justin Gaethje, and there's really nothing that's happened. That's just if you talk to the fans, hey, what's the big one? What's the interesting one? What can you package up? What can you sell? But things could change very quickly. The UFC is going to honor Michael Chandler. If you want to wait and Conor returns, we'll put you together. But that's as far as that goes. If Michael Chandler returns, everybody's fair game for McGregor. That would include Poirier. I'm not suggesting for you that that's the fight that's going to happen. I'm just star. And if you look at the guys that are available and the guys that are still competing, he could get something going with Colby Covington, but it hasn't happened yet. And the storylines and the things that are out there, trilogy, Justin Gaethje, I'm still in Vegas. If there was somewhere to bet that happens, I would.